This is Roofs by Don, and right now we're here with Brendon Muse, River City Roofing Solutions in the building.
Yes, sir.
Alabama, stand up.
Represent, baby, represent.
So, tell me a little bit about you guys.
Man, I'm third generation in the business. My father and my uncle own the company. My grandfather works with us as well. We're locally owned and operated, veteran-owned business as well. My father served a little bit of time in the Army. So we kind of got that small town feel. We're out of Decatur, Alabama, but we do service a pretty large area. We cover all of North Alabama, which spreads all the way from like Florence to Gunnersville, down south all the way to Coleman. We really specialize in insurance claims, helping homeowners, fully recover their depreciation and maximize their claim and try to give them the best roof possible. Just like Roofs by Don here, we use the IKO shingles, the best bang for your buck shingle available out there on the market. It's going to give you that high-end hail impact rating along with the high-end wind warranties, 130 miles an hour. You guys know the deal. It's head and shoulders above the rest of the competition, and that's why, the professionals use it and they prefer it. And I think that's kind of what separates us from everybody else in our market area. We're one of the only real IKO guys. There's like 2 new companies that just popped up, but they're Select, and we're Craftsman Premier. We're the only Craftsman Premier people in North Alabama.
If you can let some of the guys, some of the viewers know, what's the difference between, say, like Select and the Craftsman Premier? Like, what is that?
So all contractors have got these loyalty levels basically within their own brand for contractors. So contractors that have more experience, that have installed more of their roofs and sometimes even gone through certification test on installing methods, they'll give you basically like a higher end backing and allow you sometimes to have like extended wind warranties where you can up the years on the wind warranties because they trust your product, they trust your installation methods, and they know that you're going to do it the way that they want you to. And it's all the little things. It's the other things that we do. It's not just doing the manufacturing, requirements, but we do the manufacturing recommendations. So some companies say they may require that you use 3 nails or 4 staples. We never use staples, but instead of just doing the 3 or the 4, we do what's recommended, which may be 4 to 6 nails. On that particular roof. May also depend on the pitch. We're making sure that we're taking the extra steps to make sure that the homeowner is cared for and provided for, and that they have the best roofing system possible installed on their roof. Hopefully costing them only their deductible out of pocket. That's our goal.
We love it. Okay. And now for the viewers, we heard that you said that you're IKO. So, of course, we love IKO over here, at Roofs by Don and at the Roof Gallery. So one thing that we want to highlight. So for 2022, let's see some of the hardware.
All right, so we came back with some hardware, man. Nice. 2022 Regional Contractor of the Year.
Get a zoom in on that.
For the South. Yes, sir.
Hey.
Yeah, and it's even got our tag on the back with the company logo, so it's legit.
Yep.
This thing's shiny, man. We like to polish it up at the office all the time, man.
So I need mine for next year. So how did you get that now? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, mostly just through networking and marketing. We kind of help make ourselves known with IKO through social media connections. And also, it's also based on your market area and what kind of sales you're producing too. So, if you're the top contractor in your market area versus other IKO contractors, it's going to increase their looks to you as well, obviously, because you're helping promote their business, right? So they want to reward you and promote you back as well. And that's something else they did here. For social media, we got the 2022 award for creating and capturing the most beautiful IKO performance and designer shingle jobs. And that's just mostly due to our drone footage work up on top of the roofs, man. We love to do that, good aerial images of the home. Oftentimes I send them to the homeowners after the job and let them reuse it to promote their house, especially if they're going to sell their house. It's like a real estate agent situation. It can really up that curb appeal value to the home buyers. So
that's awesome. I really think that you guys are doing a real good job. Not only showing the more superior shingles as far as the manufacturer, like that you guys are using IKO, but also with your marketing too,
Right.
So that's why you're getting rewarded.
Right.
And I know we were having a previous conversation off air, with Brendon, but this is it right here. Just doing these stuff right here. You're already getting the awards. You're already at the top. And this what really makes you guys, stand above the rest as far as for roofers,
Right. Yeah, it's all about being genuine too on social media. I feel like that's something we're starting to see is like a new problem in the industry. I'm noticing some guys come in. I see it on sponsored messages. I'm sure you have too. With these fake sales gurus, you're starting to see now popping into the industry. So you got to keep your eye on stuff like that as well.
100%.
Yeah. You got a lot of guys just trying to take advantage of this market, because I feel like roofing wasn't known about 10 to 15 years ago. It didn't really reach the eye of the people on social media until you started having guys like Roofing Insight, Adam Bensman, Roof Hustlers start popping out and kind of exposing the brand and what roofing can do for people. And then you start having testimonials, the young guys you see on YouTube, people sometimes even like myself that are a young age 22-year-old guy, and they're changing their life. They're doing $1 million in sales, making good money for themselves, doing what they're doing, and you feel good about it too. There's the helping aspect of helping homeowners. It's not like a job you just punch in and punch out at the end of the day and you get your paycheck and you go home.
Yeah, you actually have like a good quality of life.
Right.
You can go home and then you know that you actually help the homeowner. They're actually happy that you helped the actual house, something that they actually need, an asset. So I feel that definitely.
Yeah, and it kind of puts you in the public eye a little bit too. It's almost like being an insurance agent or a realtor where, now – I think especially for guys in this industry, young guys especially, it's kind of an opportunity to change yourself a little bit and prepare for the young men coming into the industry to become a better professional and become a better man too. I think there's a lot of learning for stuff like that in roofing, mainly because it's also kind of like a sales job with this stuff, but you still get a touch of that blue collar life too. So it's not completely all posh. There's actually a little bit of work involved to it, so it makes you appreciate what you get out of this job too. It's not like any of this stuff is just handed to you. Most of your sales guys are commission based, so unless you close that job and you do a good job and you get it paid in full, you don't get paid. What I mean? So it's even better motivation for you to be a better salesman, to be a better roofer, and be a better provider of service to homeowners.
Facts. I love that. I love that. So we were talking about a little bit of sales. So we know that your company, River City, goes in with the sales.
Yes, sir.
So as far as for personal sales, how's your sales looking for the year? How's it looking that you're going to reach by the end of the year?
Well, where it's looking at as far as my pacing, I should go anywhere from 1 to 1.3 million. I've already passed, that 650 to 750 phase. And
everybody, just give them a quick round of applause. Hey,
yes, sir.
Okay,
yes,
$1 million
yes,
club. Hey,
yes, sir. It is my first ever $1 million sales in a year, so I'm definitely excited about that for sure.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah. Thank you for real. It's one of those things like the new guys that I bring into the industry. I tell them it really can change your life. When I first started, even though it's a family business, so I figured one day eventually I may get into this business. I wasn't really sure, and I tried to do it on my own first. This is also why I'm so thankful for my family and for the family business, because they allowed me the opportunity to come in and start doing what I'm doing. But in the beginning, I was working plant jobs. I worked in an industrial gas plant. That's real hard work. I'm putting in 40 to 50 hours a week. I feel like I'm working my life away, but I come home and I'm making, $20,000 a year, almost McDonald's worker.
$20,000 a year?
Yeah, I think best case scenario that year, I didn't even finish that year. I think I did the math, and like best case scenario, I would have made 30 grand if I would have kept working overtime every weekend. And I broke away from that and I hopped into roofing sales. Just the timing worked beautiful. I got out of this job and we had another sales guy at this company who slipped off of a ladder coming down from a roof.
Oh my gosh.
And he didn't do anything too bad, just kind of popped down a rung, his foot slipped, and so it messed his knee up, so he couldn't inspect roofs. So the opportunity was there. I got the opportunity to do his inspections for him, and kind of get up on the roof, take pictures and stuff, document damage, and begin learning the industry. And I did that for like 2 months, and then I hopped in on my own. They kind of cut me loose, 1099 me. Okay, you're doing your own thing now. And went out, I invested in myself. I bought a truck, and that first year in roofing, I sold about $700,000 in sales. My very first year in the industry.
Nice.
And it was completely life changing for me. And ever since then, I knew that I'd never look back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's usually everyone's story. Once they get in, it's like they can't get back out.
Yeah.
You get that bug,
Yeah.
And so, quick question: as far as for this is what I feel like a lot of people would like to know, especially since you are an IKO contractor as far as Craftsman Premier.
Yeah.
So a real good question for all the social media peoples out there looking. What do you think is the difference between GAF and IKO?
The main difference that I've seen as a contractor is really the performance. The performance is everything. Now GAF, they have this great marketing tool and tactic, and I'm not knocking on them. That's awesome. That's great. But I think a lot of people mistake that and mistake them being the #1 most sold shingle for being the best. However, it's just, and I used this example the other day to a homeowner, so I'd love to break it out here. It's like pencils, right? So teachers have got like a set budget and salary. They can only afford so much classroom supplies in a year. So why is it that maybe Stratford #2 pencils are the most sold? It's because they're the cheapest. They can afford those in bigger bundles. So your new home builders, that are building these new projects, new hotels, whatever it is that's going up in your city, it's probably got some sort of builder's grade or entry level product on it, because that's what they're using to save themselves money. It has nothing to do with performance. But when you get to residential restoration, which is the business that we're in, right, and replacing that original roof to the home, you want to give them something that's actually going to last, especially if it's the homeowner's money going into it. So we're able, at least in our market area, and this may not be true for everybody's market area across the U.S., but in our market area, we're actually able to offer a free upgrade if you have a dimensional roofing system to the Dynasty shingle instead of like the Cambridge or, like the Natural Shadow, which is, I think, GAF's equivalent. And we're able to upgrade you guys for free, giving you the higher end true wind warranties. You've actually got a real nailing strip built into the shingle, and it's hail impact resistant, which, as you know, saves 5 to 10% on homeowners' insurance, typically every year for their homeowners policy. And on top of that, with it being a performance level product instead of an entry level product, even though we're able to provide that upgrade for free, its value is still higher. So when the home gets reappraised, typically it can raise the appraisal value of the home as well. So there's a lot of positives that go into that for the homeowner, just for using the IKO shingle versus the GAF when the cost isn't any different,
I couldn't have said it better myself. That was perfect. That was perfect. And then the only thing that I just want to add is that we were saying with the IKO and GAF, in particular the IKO Dynasty and the GAF HDZs, the IKO Dynasty is a Class 3 rated shingle,
right? And
then the GAF HDZs is Class 2 rated,
right? So
at the end of the day, you just see which one is better,
Right.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, how about as far as for the other brands, the Certainty, the Owens Corning, what do you think about those?
Well, when we first opened, we actually started with OC, and there's a reason why we ended up branching away to IKO. OC price ended up going up for their equivalent level, so it was cheaper still to use the IKO. But then we looked at performance and was like, well, is it worth it to keep OC? Is it performing better? And right around that time, that's when Dimitri came out with that video at the RRE where they went straight to the Owens Cornering booth. That you tap this IKO shingle on that they didn't have at their booth, and now we know why. And they test it side by side, and it beats it twice in a row. And you look at that, and then you end up going back to the pricing. And then on top of that, there's just a few other things at IKO that really makes it a more dominant shingle for me in the market. Or it should be a more dominant shingle in the market due to the qualities it has. It's a larger shingle. It uses metric sizes.
Square.
Yeah, it's a true square advantage, right? So we're able to be more accurate on our measurements. So if it's a retail situation, then we're actually saving the homeowner money because we can do a square, 2 square less or more depending on the size of that roof.
Yep.
So it brings so many benefits to the table for the contractor and for the homeowner. Once we sat there and weighed that out, I mean, it was a no-brainer. You have to go IKO at that point.
I love it.
Yeah. And just like us, IKO is also started as a family-owned business as well. So there's another special connection there also.
IKO definitely loves you back. They definitely have the family-orientated vibe, and that's why we like them a lot too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You really feel like they care for you. I've almost never had any warranty issues with IKO as well. Something that other inspectors of ours said in the past with other companies, I won't name any, but they said that they've had issues getting a warranty claim approved. Well, with IKO, I've never really ran into a warranty claim, and one time I had an issue where the color lock came out wrong on one, and it's one job I've only ever had, and the rep came right out, and we fixed it right away. They paid for the shingles to be redone.
And that's the main part right there. It's not necessarily if there's problems, because we're all human, so at the end of the day, any business that's real is going to have some kind of problem, but it's really about how you fix the problem.
Right.
So at the end of the day, like you said, they were right on it, on top of it. That's big. That's good.
Yeah. They addressed it right away. So instead of just leaving us on hold or making us contact some 1-800 number, we actually have a direct guy that we can call that's from our area. That's usually no more than 20 minutes away from any given job site. So
nice. Okay, what's your plans for the end of 2023? What's the goals?
What's the goals? Well,
you already got the hard hat.
Right, we already got the hard hat.
What's
We already
next?
got the hardware with IKO.
Yeah.
Man, I think our real big goal is getting ready to get into a new space, or maybe build onto our space, because we're growing so much. And we've had a lot of growth this year. So I think really our goal is I don't want to say we don't want to continue growing or even slow down, but I think our goal is by the end of this year, the growth that we've gotten, we want to see it come to fruition. The newer guys, the younger staff, we want to see them get fully developed and ready to step out and have that $1 million year next year. You know,
to be like you.
Yeah, right.
You want to duplicate yourself.
Right, absolutely.
Got it.
And that's what Chris and Michael tried to do with me and some of the other top sales guys, and that's why we're at where we're at. And now it's just replicating that process again and again and again.
Love it, love it.
Yeah.
Question. So this might be a side question, but maybe something that people would like to hear, you know?
Yeah.
So you said this is a family business, right? And second or third generation?
Third generation.
Third, so your grandpa, your dad,
Yeah.
now you.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So do you guys do you guys have like a longer plan? So like, is the plan to have the family business go for then your son and then your grandkids?
Yeah,
or is it like
absolutely.
an exit plan where like we're trying to get it big enough to sell it at a certain price point?
I don't, at least not for me. I mean, maybe one day, with it being a family business, if that's a decision that my son or grandson made, I'd be comfortable with that if that's what they felt like the right move was. However, for me, growing up, before my father got into sales, before, the story I told you of how he came from another company before and kind of helped them expand their business and then broke off and started his own thing. Before he ever did any of that, he was actually an installer. My father actually installed shingles in my early childhood. He was actually on the roofs.
Nothing but roofing everything.
Yeah, he came home every day. He was dirty. There was red dirt clay in the bottom of his truck. You know what I mean? So getting to see that development and watching what roofing has done for him, it makes me not want to shy away from it and really embrace it, because I've already seen what it's done for my family before. Yeah. And I think my goal is going to be to try to innovate it and take it to that next level. So
I love that.
Eventually I do want to expand at some point, increase our market area, maybe get a license in other states. Don't worry, I'm not coming for you. We'll probably go to, Florida or,
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. But, do something like that to try and expand our market area as roofing contractors. But eventually, I think for me personally, my dream goal is going to be to innovate the roofing shingle and get to a position to where I can minimize roofing cost and increase roofing performance. Whether that end up being an asphalt shingle or I find something that's similar to a Euro Shield, whatever that may be. I want to find something that's going to give me the best benefit between wind and hail resistance. I want to have both, but I want it to be cost efficient also. And I know that's hard to do, and that's a really big task. So that's why I feel like that's the task that I need to step up to take, because no one's done it yet. Either everybody has made cheaper shingles to help people out that need cheaper roofing products, or they've made these higher end shingles that do, yes, perform a lot better, but they're more expensive.
It's too expensive.
Right.
So you want to make your own shingle.
Right. Yeah, that's the goal. Eventually, I want to sell shingles worldwide.
That's fire. So this is who I'm going to be hanging out with, Brendon, because he has big dreams.
That's it.
And it's not limited, So that's the things that I like. So that's awesome. That's the things that get you in the Roof Museum, the Hall of Fame.
Right. Yeah. Not having a ceiling, man. That's a big thing.
That's awesome.
That's actually the advice I got from my father when I first started.
Yeah.
He said, don't place a ceiling over yourself.
Yeah, that's
when I first
awesome.
started, because my first day I came into the meeting and I see the sales numbers. I see these guys that have been doing it for 10 years. They're already at $1 million. They're doing this, that, and the third. All their kids are sent off to college, paid for via roofing. So I kind of got intimidated a little bit, and I was like, man, how do I compare to these guys? And that was my issue, is I was comparing myself to others when people. I first started. And I was like, how am I ever going to get to that level? Well, this guy's sales is this way, but it's because he does this, this, and this, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to replicate that. And then I got to the position where I learned, once he told me that, to not ever set a ceiling for myself. It's not about them. It's not about the market cap or what other roofers have done. All the YouTube videos and stuff you see of some guy setting a new record, so many $1 million of sales in a year. That's not the cap either. It's been broken plenty of times before. It can be done again and again and again and again. So I had to learn to not set a ceiling for myself, and every day just try to beat myself from yesterday.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a great point. And that goes into kind of what we were talking about off air, and just a little bit as far as for marketing in general. when you're doing roofing is not to compare against anyone else.
Right.
You know, it's because when you do that, it ends up like you kind of like mess yourself up a little bit because when you're in your own race and you're not necessarily looking at the next person, then you're kind of able to figure out your own paths and your own things that you want to do, you know, like what you actually want to do.
Right.
And you might get the similar results as far as if your result is success.
Yeah.
So you might get the success, you know, but I don't think that people should necessarily, I always just say it a lot. I don't think that people should necessarily like copy what someone else is doing.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to work out the same. So like you see me, I'm rapping. Right. I'm a roofer. Like, you know, like that's probably maybe me, maybe someone else, but most likely you're not gonna be able to replicate that as much, you know?
Right.
But I can't ride dirt bikes.
Right.
I don't do ATVs, you know, I don't do fishing. There's a lot of stuff I don't do, you know, that other people do better than me and they specialize in it. Yeah. So I feel like everyone needs to like
hit their niche.
Yes, because there's a niche literally for everything. So everybody just needs to hit their niche and then add that to the roofing industry. And now you'll have your own tribe, your own people to follow, your own following and things like that. And I feel like that's what is going to help elevate roofing to the next level. Yeah. It's like just how you said the shingles, like that's awesome. You know, that's your own path. That could be something that's different.
Right. Yeah, and I think the niches in the roofing industry has really been what's helped it grow already. People like you that are getting it involved in other areas. We're finally getting roofing seen by people that didn't ever see it before.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the point, to make it like cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Actually make it cool. And I think that's like a real big thing that some of these current, if you want to call them the Mount, what is it called? Mount Rushmore of roofing.
Yeah, so the tastemakers in roofing right now.
Right. The tastemakers in roofing right now are doing that hasn't been done before in the past. Like I said earlier, your Adam Bensmans, your Dimitri's, Roof Hustlers with Deshaun Bryan, and you yourself, you guys are expanding it into these other areas that it never would have got seen before. And it's like even when I first started roofing and I hopped on social media and I'm doing all this roofing networking, roofing social media, all I ever saw in my feed was other roofer stuff. And then with time, though, I noticed that finally with some other guys trying to make it more popular, and I mean, I think it's even been in just the past 2 years, we've seen roofing take a real rise as far as its popularity and people being aware of what it is.
Yes.
And now I've seen more non-roofing involved people interacting with my stuff, interacting with y'all stuff, and getting reshared. And now it's even just like the Burberry event. You know what I mean? We're making these new connections now that never would have, these two industries would have never connected before.
Exactly. Right. And that's the point, to make it a household name, to make it mainstream.
Yeah.
Roofing's going mainstream, guys.
That's it. That's it. Just like Johnson & Johnson.
Yep. So Santa's not the only person on the roof anymore.
Right.
So we're gonna wrap this one up. As far as, we want to thank River City Roofing Solutions again to be as in the building. They came to Atlanta. They got the VIP tour at the Roof Gallery. It was a blessing. We had Brendon and Brendon shooting, playing hoops.
Yes,
I think Brendon won. Brendon won.
I think I did.
So Brendon's gonna get the rematch.
Yeah. We'll get the one-on-one.
We're very thankful for having you guys come in.
Yeah.
You said that you was bearing gifts too?
Yes, I'm thankful for you having me, Don. So
of course.
When I came in today, I knew it was your birthday, so I wanted to bring you a gift, man. I got you a little watch.
Hey, okay.
It may not fit on your wrist yet. I told him not to take the links out, because I didn't know your wrist size, but I wanted to get you set up.
Hey, I'm finally going to be on time. No more black people time.
But it's all black everything, just how you like, man. I got you an all black watch. Yes, sir.
That's fire. Hey.
Happy birthday.
I'm about to put that on the wrist right now. I'm about to be like this. That's what's up.
Yes, sir.
Yo, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. For real. Thank you.
For real. Hey, so that's it again. This is a wrap. Every single day, you're going to catch us on the roof.